Hello, checkity check. Welcome to LFM TV. Hello, welcome
Hey,
Audit
thank
LA.
you. Hey,
uh,
hi everyone.
Yay. Okay, this is fun. So just so
Yeah.
everybody knows, I'm definitely doing a tester on my new microphone here. So this feels very weird because it's so loud and clear, and I feel like I'm like in a proper studio. And I guess, like you said, the studio is the proper studio wherever I am.
Right.
So in the chat, let me know if you can hear me and Audit well, and if it sounds good, or if it sounds like you're in a theater show and I need to get rid of this microphone immediately.
I think it sounds
Um,
good. Hi
does
everyone.
it sounds good on your end? So even if I come over
Yeah.
here, it's supposed to be like I'm able to just talk. Audio is great. Dang, Faded Joe gave it cap letters. Audio is great.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Even from here, that sounds decent. Nice. Okay. Sounds decent. It sounds decent. Ganja, that doesn't help me. It sounds decent. Ah. Okay, well, welcome to my little bubble party. Exactly. Audit said it before we went live. My bubble, my world is wherever I am. What is they say? Home is where you lay your head, and that is where my home is, right here, my heart, my head. Okay, so we're doing this is the official, and if the microphone, it sounds great. I mean, okay, good. Fuck yeah. F yes. Um, so this is our official update. I'm glad. I want to, like I said
Finally.
earlier, and yeah, finally, we are doing our update. And we honestly, it was way too exhausting to literally do an update on Easter. Like, no way, that's not happening. And then the recovery the next day. And we had to go to Public Works and all of that. So, yeah, awesome. All the way in the Netherlands. Great sound. Hello,
Wow.
ladies. Hello, chat. Amazing. Welcome on in. Um, so let's talk about, I was going to say, so we're going to be updating everybody on protesting, what we've been doing, and our activism, and just general questions. If you guys have any questions, even with my music or shows or whatever, let me know. You can throw them in the chat, and hopefully one of my amazing moderators will star them for me if they can. um but so I first wanted to, for those of you who don't know Audit, do you want to just say just a quick intro? Who knows? We might have one new listener.
It's true. I go by AuditLA. I consider myself an activist and an advocate. I am advocating for the victims of Scientology and to be, some don't have a voice anymore, right? It's been taken. So we're their voice. We're the voice of those who want to stand up, like, Laura coming to meetings, there, want to be there by her side because sometimes it gets really hard for people who've been through this. And PTSD can get really crazy in real time. And so, I think it's always good to have somebody with you because it gets very emotional for all of us. And then I'm also there I am trying to unsafe point and, the safe point and how, because the Scientology has its fingers and tentacles deeply embedded in my city, which is LA. And we're working very hard every day, day and day, to remove those tentacles bit by bit. It's not an overnight microwave process. It's slow, but slow and steady wins the race. So we're keeping at it. And we have a lot of help from a lot of different wonderful people.
Yeah, I was gonna show the pamphlet that we put together, and this is the last one. Somebody donated $200 for me to make another 200. Basically, it's a little over 200 flyers again, and this time we'll get into it, but I would love to have these pamphlets for, of course, the city and any of the general public that are at the city halls doing their own meetings, and they're going, oh, she has pamphlets, I want one, I want to read what that's about. Which happens a lot, like literally. And
Yeah.
it's like such an honor for them to be like, when somebody comes rushing up to you with a camera and they're from another country or from another religion, and you can tell, and they're like, oh, can I please have one of those pamphlets? Thank you. To me, that is such an honor. Like, and so that happens a lot, and not just with that, but with other secret city of it, not secret, but they are like, hey, they come to me or to Audit in a way where they're being discreet, but they do want the pamphlet. And it's
Yeah.
like, yes, like no problem. We don't need you on a live stream just to like get you to be a part of us.
And a
But
lot of
again,
them say that they're on our side, that they definitely believe it's a cult, Scientology, or that they don't like it, and they can't say it officially maybe, but they are telling us behind the scenes they're with us.
and some of them are saying it out loud, which I love. I would love, like, for example, we can talk about this. We went to Burbank and they were so honored. First of all, it was just like totally like flip from like, wow, wait, we got a break from resistance, you know. But the Burbank meeting, the Burbank council meeting we went to, they were inviting us to bring on. In fact, I mean, they didn't know we were coming. We showed up, me, Tori, and AuditLA, and and Bike Guy, always got to bring in Bike Guy. And we just laid it down for them, like, hey, we're here. We're noticing a higher, you know, population or whatever in Scientology volunteer ministers or CCHR members or Dianetics book tents that are, popping up in tents or on random sidewalks throughout the city. And so we go in with that, and it was really nice to see that Burbank was completely for being transparent, and that there should be absolute definite line between church and state here, and that they don't allow all other religions to just come in and pamphlet on their street or whatever it is. There's many, anyways, but they also know the abuses of Scientology. So as we may call it a religion, we're just doing that respectfully to the law and to the people that believe, or legally, I would say believe, because nobody actually believes Scientology is a religion. They just go, oh, well, it's a religion when the police can't do anything, when they can't go in and like break down the auditing room and tell them to stop abusing the, child or the elderly person that's been locked in that freaking auditing room for hours on end. Wow, I can go on many strings here, but audit's used to this. So it's just really cool that we have the pamphlets. So yeah, rolling back, we have these pamphlets. I got a little bit $200 more to go print off more. We got an updated version of the pamphlet. I also am going to print T from Australia, T from Down Under. She also made this amazing pamphlet. Like, she just like, bam, comes up with amazing fucking ways to just counteract Scientology's propaganda. But she came up with another pamphlet that is like a folding one, and it literally talks about every child Scientology course that was just released at the new events, like the ARC triangle, how it actually is abusive, and how having only a certain structure of communication in this way is abusive. And so it's really amazing. I may use the person who donated the $200. I may use a part of that money to print maybe 50 of those, because it would be amazing to have all of these. But it's so vital to have these Scientology pamphlets that say warning, neighborhood, safe point, Scientology tactics, safe pointing. If we could have 100 of those just standing outside every time they even think about closing down L. Ron Hubbard Way, for the 4th of July or Easter events or holidays or any kind of Halloween or Christmas festivals anywhere, we have these pamphlets that are like, here you go. This is what Scientology is doing. Please be aware of this fake PR event that is recruiting your children and your family members.
Yes.
So it's
we needed that on
important.
Sunday, on Easter. We could have, like, not the segue, but we could have really used that in the morning, especially when I was there alone. Wow, that would have been great, because T's doing amazing stuff with these pamphlets, but that would have been so helpful, things like that. And we are talking about
we
getting
don't think
cards and
about,
stuff with info.
we could do a lot. There's so much that could have happened, but believe you me, I woke up this morning with freaking so much amazing fun energy and like a boom, like a lift. And I just realized, like, we can get that. We're learning from everything we're doing. And yeah, that's one thing when I went, oh my God, that would have been great. Also, we can alter it in a little bit of a way where certain pamphlets are like very specific for Los Angeles, and some are just general that can be used internationally. And anyway, so I love that we're doing that. We're breaking that all down. And It would be awesome. I know we already talked about this a lot, and again, sidetracking, but to be able to have these pamphlets for any state, we can send some off to the SPTV Foundation. We can even send them to the Aftermath Foundation, where they can send them out to people that maybe like we have no idea. There's certain comedy clubs and things that are like, hey, we want to give this to somebody who can actually have it up on the main board, whatever it is. It's all about, it's not only like, oh, here, look at all these groups and see who are the front groups of Scientology. It's the fact that a pamphlet was made by a community, and that there's so many people out here now that are literally like putting energy into letting you as the public, as the city official, as anybody receiving this pamphlet, know that this is an important issue. Scientology has been and is safe pointing the city, and it's very obvious, and it's also very, it could be a very heroic, amazing thing to be able to stop Scientology after all this time from doing something, being so fucking evil and infiltrating so hard into the city. So, wow, I'm going on a roll.
I love it.
So
that's okay. It's good. We're progressing. We're getting more and more ammunition, or tools, I should say, in our tool belt now, and it's amazing. And thanks to everybody who's T right now, like for making that happen. It's awesome.
Yes, thank you also, Beachcomber, and thank you guys so much for all your memberships, by the way. You literally, like, I can't tell you how much YouTube, the little check that comes in every month, and sometimes little and sometimes it's a little more, and some whatever, it's up and down, and it's like, it just made him like, like everything just like, woo, a little bit just helped every freaking step of the way. So thank you guys all for your memberships.
Even getting to and from meetings and stuff, and we're getting more and more meetings.
Everything.
And I want to say hi to everyone too. I see all these hi everyone.
Yeah, pamphlets. Thank you. See, boom. So now I'm gonna go with this pamphlet. I want to print those the new ones with the kids, that the newer flyer that T just made up. So I wonder if I can actually, I guess you guys have seen the pamphlets, but if you haven't, go to T Down Under's page and she has them posted up on there. Thank you, Jose. That's very awesome. Thank you so much. Yes.
There's a question from Gonza about how much does it cost, if anyone wants to help make the printing happen, how much does it cost to get, say, 100 of the pamphlets?
Anybody can do it their way. I'm doing it my way. Everybody likes to play, oh, I know this printing place that's so cheap. Good, then do it. Do it your way, because I keep hearing that, and I don't know anybody that's a cheap printer. I do, but this is the cheapest way I'm going. So I do certain things through Office Depot because I have a $40 membership a year, and they give you 10% on almost all printing and ink items and everything. So all this adds up, and when that adds up, it's actually cheaper than going to a smaller printer. So if you're asking like, how much is it? It's like I said, it's about 200. I printed 4 of those. It's 4 pages of front and back color, and on nice gloss or whatever it is, where it looks like a flyer, like a nice pamphlet flyer. And so each one of those ends up being about $1. Each pamphlet ends up being about $1, which isn't
that's
that
really
bad.
good though. Actually,
exactly.
I thought you were going to say $2. So
it's actually a little bit less than $1. Yeah, I think it's a little bit less than $1.
So $100 would get you 100 pamphlets, which is
exactly.
A huge help.
Exactly. So
if you want to send or put flyer fund, right? Like here,
and that's what it is. Every time somebody sends $200, I literally go, like, I get excited. I go, ooh, I was so super low on money the other day and whatever. And it's like, so not my thing. I'm just like, nope, don't care. Just keep going. And then somebody sent me the $200 for the flyers, and I just got so excited. I'm going to the Office Depot to go get these flyers, and it just made me feel like, see, nothing will stop me. I don't know. I just really love that. So Thank you guys so much all the time when you send that stuff. It's like life-saving, and it makes me feel so good because I actually can go in, even if it's just to a public comment or the police commission. We'll get into all that. But it's super amazing to hold up something that I'm like, I gave you guys this. And if you don't have it, come see me. You see me in this color, come find me. Please ask me for it. And when I get community members and people just generally coming up and asking me for that, it's really awesome. It just shows me there are people who care, and there are people who clearly dislike Scientology's abuses, and they absolutely see its tactics and how they infiltrated the city.
I see Mark's question. Mark, yeah, we'll have I guess as we get to that point, we'll get to the
Is
questions.
there follow up with the opposite allows? Yes.
Yeah,
So let's
I'll
talk.
get to
So
that.
let's start. Yeah, let's all
into
get to that.
Easter.
So yeah, so we're gonna first talk about. You guys are so awesome. Thank you guys. Yes, ask your questions. Can you go? Let me. Sorry, this one. Can you go try to see Mother? Is this for me or for you? Is this for me, Kathy?
It has to be for you. My mom's gone to be with the Lord.
Can you go try to see my mother at Gold Base?
What about maybe it's about a wellness check? Are you talking about maybe doing a wellness check? Because we've been saying that is what needs to be done. The thing is, we need to do it. We can't do it with LAPD. I think it has to be with Riverside.
Yes, it's so well. And we slowly are figuring it out, but yes. So I do it with Riverside, and the thing is, and it's okay. Like Scientology, you can keep running and you can keep hiding, but I feel like this is just my own belief. Ooh, I love that I can move the microphone and it doesn't make any sound. That's just so wild. It's so smooth. Thank you, Auntie. You know who you are, who got me that. You angel of all angels. Oh my God. I love you guys so much. Okay. What was I saying?
We'll go back. Oh, about a wellness check, but then we're going to get into Easter. Yeah.
Okay, so first, my mother. My mother's at Gold Base, and I think Scientology. I know. Hi, Osa. Everybody wave. Hi, Osa.
Hi, Osa.
I think that they watched the videos, and there was a video where I think I'm talking to Audit about getting a wellness check on my mom, and a psychiatric wellness check, just to be very.
You said it at the police commission too, which I'm sure they watched intently.
Absolutely. So,
Osa hit the like.
Osa hit the like button. Thank you. I was gonna say from some knowledge that I've received and some ways that I know, it seems that my mother has been moved from off of Gold Base to kind of like how Heber Gents was off base in Hemet somewhere at some medical house or whatever. That I think they have her living off base, like, as a legal thing. So she's off base and not at Gold Base. So if there was any wellness check done, they couldn't go to the Gold Base, but I'm not sure. Again, don't care. Again, Scientology, you can keep running and hiding, but I will get that wellness check and it's going to happen.
No, you can have them go to Gold Base and then they will have to tell her where she is. Right. Tell the officers. Okay. No, they can. No, they send them to Gold Base.
Well, okay, we'll talk. I'll tell you.
We'll talk later.
I'll talk to you more.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, I'm literally writing down my things so I can ask you about it after. Dang, this is like so weird that the microphone is just clear, and I can move, and there's no like even with earrings on. My friend made these earrings.
It's amazing. Yeah, you don't hear no crackling or peep pops or none of that.
It's so clear. Okay, that's enough. Okay, wellness. Okay,
Easter.
Okay, so now
it's hard to believe it's been a week already.
Yeah, it's crazy. So happy Easter and happy. I think today's actually. I read somewhere it's Orthodox Easter or something.
Probably, yeah. It's always later.
Today's. Okay, so there was a protest. There was. I want to say that when you come in at early in the morning, when you came in, I want people to know that for 2 years now, guys, which you can help us do tomorrow morning as well, we've been calling into the Board of Public Works that controls sidewalks, controls streets, controls, water, controls anything having to do with cities, like functionings of the streets, closures, all of that, film and everything. And we've been calling in to the city every Monday morning and every like Wednesday and sometimes Fridays, like whatever we can do to call and let Public Works know, please stop giving Scientology these permits. These are the permits they're using to close off the road, L. Ron Hubbard Way. That's one thing, is being used to recruit and to, get people into Scientology, which has nothing to do with the city or why they would close down a street for a public entity that also calls themselves a religion to be closing off a street to recruit members into their cult. But the other thing is that L. Ron Hubbard Way was never actually, from what it looks like, legally shown to be approved to be L. Ron Hubbard Way. It's North Berendo Street, or that it can be taken back. That they go ahead.
No, it's legally L. Ron Hubbard Way. But they went through the city council and everything, but there was such a file of opposing it that they just disregarded, because at the time, the mayor, the city council people, they were all very much, I guess, safe pointed, very in favor of this. So they just bulldozed it through. So it is legally L. Ron Hubbard Way. And then I could discuss the parking too, but I don't know if we want to, how all that happened. So we can, I guess, if they could request to have it changed to L. Ron Hubbard Way, and I'm trying to figure out actually legally how to do this, how to request changing it back. And basically, I think one of the best ways.
But also we were saying that Nora's ex-husband that she used to be married to made that sign, and none of that's actually done by the city, is what I mean. Yeah. They just allow Scientology.
Right. Well, the city got too slow in bringing the signs. Okay. And when the workers came to put up the actual city signs, the sign was already up. And so they got confused and just turned away because Scientology had Nora's husband do a sign. And the city, of course, did nothing about it. They just said, I think the city at that time thought that it was a duplicate order, that the others, because it looked so real, I think they just thought it was a duplicate order. But it is legally, it'd be a legal process to get it off.
Right. And it also is, it's a smear. It's a blur of the line of who is supposed to, who said, and then it allows them to do things like painting their own red zones further out and longer than they should, and things like that, without city permission, because they end up just, hurting, I want to say, but it's more of a gang term where they end up just taking over the whole neighborhood, that to make it feel like, oh, don't mess with Scientology.
Well, another thing that they have, which we need to also, we're trying to revoke, is that they do have an R permit. And that R permit allowed them to put all the utilities underground, which is a benefit. Thank you. I guess that Scientology did one thing, right? But then it also gave them the opportunity to do the brick, that we know is, slave labor, and the brick. And the reason there's no parking anymore is because Scientology begged the city. They said, if we will give parking to the neighbors who need it in our garages, but give us no parking because this brick is too delicate and it gets oil on it. And of course, we know we have the slave labor always cleaning the streets. And so that's how they pushed the city into making it no parking. That they have this R permit, they're trying to preserve it because it's their job to preserve it, but parking is in the way. And so they got the city. This is, and mind you, this is based on papers that are coming from Scientology, because the city does not have any records on its own. Everything I've gotten through CPRAs is the city actually went to Jennifer, hey, where do you have proof that it's no parking? Because I bugged the heck out of them over this. And so Moxon sent in a letter, and then letters as to why they requested it. And the city's still going by that letter. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This guy was, a co-conspirator for turning in fake signed things. I'm like, why? So this is a big battle that's going to continue. But, but that's the rundown on that. But
yeah,
I'm ready to get to it. But then Easter happened on that close.
So Easter happened. So as people know, we've been calling in, telling them, stop, don't give them the permit. And specifically with Easter, we've been calling the last 3 months. You better not give them permit. I hope you don't give them the Easter permit. They end up giving them the permit, which is already disappointing. So bam, AuditLA, Easter morning, boom, comes rolling in. And I'm like, I'm so behind and I'm out. Anyways, it doesn't matter what I was doing. I was on my way and I was like, I'm not going to be there for another 2 hours. I was like, let's go. Audit. Boom. That's it. No, this is unacceptable. So I want you to share your side. And I want people to know you can literally go to Audit Stream, AuditLA, and go to the Easter, and then I have mine on my stream that says Easter scam Scientology, and you can just compare those two, compare Ashley's footage, compare Roberta's, and you will literally get a scoop of what happened. It's completely insane. But we'll go
I was
through
alone for a while, and then
yes,
right, and then we
well,
were together
not
for a
technically.
while.
We were all with you.
Right. But I mean, like, from if you're going to go back
you
and
were
look at the
holding it
footage,
strong.
and
Oh my
then we were
God. I was
together,
like,
and then you guys held it strong for the end because I had to get out of there.
no, but I remember I had been losing reception every few chunks. So now people know.
I think they were zapping
but
it.
I've been losing. I was lose, or maybe no, it was for me. I was like, and so then I would hear that you would be like, so you're not going to do anything to the police officer, and I was just like, this is unbelievable, anyways. Wow.
But it even starts back sooner. I get off the train. They literally had a investigator there with the camera ready because they knew we were coming. So I try not to. I got to stop telling them. Because people are asking, "Are you going to be going?" I got to stop saying yes because I don't want them to know I'm coming anymore. So they had an investigator there, took a picture of me, sent it, and then ran. He literally ran to the gate to get out back up to get on the train. He couldn't get on, so he had to. So he's there trying to go back to the machine, trying to fumble with his card, and I'm like leaving. And I'm like, whatever, and so then I'm going up and I go real quietly because I didn't want them to see me. And I peeked up, I'm like, oh my gosh, the street's open. But just the one security guard with his bike across it. And I get over there, I'm like, are these guys actually going to abide by the permit? And as soon as I get up there, they pull out that screen, that egg screen that they had. They said, sorry, we're closing, it's closed. And so I'm like, oh, dang it, that freaking investigator let him know I was coming. He got the picture of me. But then it was just, so I called the police, but mind you, backing up, I made it very, very clear to the police commission, the police chief, and Northeast Division about, because I had a letter from street services that the sidewalks have to remain open to pedestrians and there has to be signs. So I made it clear. One thing I didn't do, I didn't think of doing it, was going up above to the bureau level because we never had to deal with that level for the stuff, So when, and so when I called the cops, and they're a little snarky, I'll be honest. They come and they're like, well, yeah, they did discuss it at, what do you call it? They discussed it at their roll call. Okay. And they said they sent an officer to enforce it. But so they're a little aware. So then they went up to Scientology, okay, I guess to do, talk to them like they do. And then they come back and said, oh, they showed us a permit by this officer, Sergeant Shook from the Bureau, and he's saying that he has the right to override anything and that he has his own permit. And so I'm like, it's very confusing. I don't know if he had his own permit or he just interpreted the permit that they have, because, they only show one page one, they don't show you page two. And so they said, well, we have to go by our bureau, our command staff. We can't override an LAPD sergeant. And I understand that. Okay. Like just from the command staff. And I understand they're not going to put their career on the line for this because what if they're wrong? And that's what they're saying. It's above our pay grade. We don't know. The sergeant from, this level, the bureau level is saying it's okay. That's it. You guys can handle this another way. And so, so they felt like, okay, we won. They're all happy. And I also want to, before I go further, so the cops leave, and that's fine. I got their card. There's more follow up on that. But this time, how they always send out Hawaiian shirt guy to be like the handler. No, this time they sent Jennifer. And I can only suspect that because that time that Hawaiian guy assaulted Ashley, and it became, or you guys went to the police about it. I have a feeling it was a major flat. That guy wouldn't even look at me. He couldn't come near me. Like he is on notice, stay out of it. Now they sent Jennifer. And of course, Jennifer knows how to talk. She's, could be nice or whatever. And so I'm like, John, this is ridiculous, whatever. I said, you care about Easter, whatever. So he wouldn't even give me like, you know, water, like you guys don't care. And she goes, oh, you want a water? I'm like, no, not really, but and then she comes back with a freaking water, I'm like, oh, okay, Jen, she's the handler, whatever. And so I'm trying to talk to her and but, about everything. And then I'm just really pissed because I told her, I said, Jen, had I been able, it's Easter for me. Like I would have liked to have been able to celebrate Easter, like, my
Right.
version not doing this. If I had been
Right.
able to go through there, I would have gladly just gone home and celebrated Easter. And
I mean,
but I
if it
said,
wasn't a Scientology infiltrated event and it was an actual neighborhood event, we would spend Easter there.
yeah, well, no, I
If
mean,
the
I
sidewalks
would,
were all if the sidewalks were
yeah.
all ready, easy, and fixed not by indentured servants of the Sea Org, but that you were able to actually come around, and it was a really awesome neighborhood event for all to come and be a part of with no judgment and no like wiretapping and stuff like that. That would be quite the
They don't
the
know how to do
thing.
that. Well, and I was
They don't know
pissed,
how
and
to
I
do that.
said, I'm mad. So guess what? I said, if I have to suffer, because I said, you're not like I don't know. It's just that I can't let them win. Okay, they are all gloating that they got to keep it close. So I just started playing Christian music, preaching, whatever, and I'm like, it's Easter, guys. You can't say I'm disrupting your service. This is my service. It's Easter, and so. And then I got to warn like the parents coming in. I kept telling every last one of them, basically they're here. It's a recruiting mechanism. They're going to be filming your kids. Don't give your info. And so that was going on. And I even got to play a little bit of like Jenna talking about her uncle and stuff. And that did not go over well with them. They were like upset. You could tell. And then I got to talk to people. Because I went down, up and down. I was just going to be obnoxious. I mean, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna protest you guys because
I
you're
love how we have
hijacking.
to like be careful about what we say. I'm like, you're like, we just being not, yeah, what's wrong? Scientology's obnoxious in a dangerous, disgusting, sly,
Yeah.
evil way. I'm
Well,
sorry
because
if we're
they
just
clip and
obnoxious being out loud about their abuses. That's
right,
the
but
point.
they clip things, okay,
Oh,
like
I know.
Kirsten Peterson, that idiot. Sorry,
They can
is
clip
trying
all
to
they
get me
want.
arrested, and
Right,
they clip
right.
and choose what they want, and they pick and choose, and it's like it's out of context. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so yeah,
Ooh,
you do start catching
defamation
yourself,
lawsuits.
but I don't care,
Yeah.
like you guys. You violated my rights. I had the right to go down that sidewalk. You violated. I have a right to complain, and otherwise
So
I would left you
so
all the
so
heck
you
alone.
get there so you get there and was both sides closed off or was
No,
one
just the
side
one.
open and
And
this side
no,
so you're
no,
just
they
this
kept
side
the
is
one
closed off.
open, right? The one
Right.
near their building. The other side was open with the sign. Because they're like,
Yeah.
look, and the cops said, that side's open. You could go down there. I'm like, well, I don't want to go down there. I have a right to
Right.
that sidewalk. I want to go there. You cannot, and so that's going to be handled, and that is being handled. There's been a lot of emails, a lot of, trying to get meetings and trying to get things. I don't want to give too much yet. I'll probably have more updates on that. Although,
Yeah.
yes, there is a complaint against. I did put a complaint. I would prefer a meeting if they're open to a meeting, but I cannot sit by and ignore a sergeant overriding Bureau of Street Services. He overstepped his bounds, and he needs to know
Absolutely.
that. And so it has to be held. I hate it. I hate doing complaints, but until
But
they
it's
can satisfy.
valid. These are the
Yes,
tiny little the little kinks that we tweak out and figure out. And like some people could be holding a city position doing something and be like, oh, well, I've been doing this with Scientology for 25 years.
right.
Good. That's the point.
They're
You
not going to do
are
it
the
anymore,
one.
though.
Right. And
He's
so
not going to do
it's
it
but what
again.
I'm saying is that there's people in the city that are starting to realize, oh my God, I am the one that approves this, that approves that, that then approves this.
Right.
Like,
But that,
or that
right.
they're a part of this, and then they know that they could say something and that could actually stop this from happening. And so I think the more people we tell, the better, because if you're not doing it, if you're not a part of Scientology's infiltration, or you're not at some part of their leech that you're connected to it, and you aren't, and that, then it's interesting. There's no, like, nobody's trying to fight you. Nobody's trying to fight us. Nobody's trying to
Right.
fight people that are exposing the crimes of Scientology. They're like, oh yeah, I mean, oh wow, child abuse, all of that, make it known. Like,
Yeah.
and
You have
so
to.
and so I feel like, as calling into public work meetings, again, gonna remind people for tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow morning?
Yes. Monday, Wednesday,
Yes.
Friday. Because it's
Monday, Wednesday,
working,
Friday,
because they don't
public
get the
works.
permits. I've looked
Right.
over like the past 10 years of their permits. They used to get them for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and
Yes.
for
Yeah. And
years,
they have
decades
slowed it
probably.
down.
And now
Yep.
it's minimal, and it's only
Yeah.
for the that 1 or 2 days at most, or one day for, and they have all these extra rules. They have very stringent rules. But so
Yeah.
I think the reason why they gave it to them, because I think they felt, okay, this is Easter. They are going to be bringing in a lot of the community. They're not seeing it as a recruitment event, but it was, because everyone had to sign up for it. Like when went in, they had to sign a card with their information,
I
and I'm
mean,
like, why are
but
you doing that?
okay, this is going to be so fun. So let's talk more about the event, because I want to talk about that. There's people who are playing at the event, like this fucking LA violinist guy.
It was
There
obnoxious.
are people where I'm like, hey man, you're supporting this. You realize, and it was as simple as some people are like, oh, this is Scientology? No. Like they're like, no.
Yeah,
Wow, thank you. No, thank you. I do know about it. I just didn't connect it. And I
yeah,
was like, okay. And the only other thing was like, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know. Like, oh, I'm Christian. And I'm like, okay, just look up what sign, and they're like, okay, thank you. So there's no resentment of protesters, especially if you're saying it in a fun way, like, hey guys, hope your kid's having fun, but please be aware that this is a Scientology recruitment event. Whatever you can say. I've gotten better and better at it. We all have. But
yeah.
the more you can say it, it's super obvious when you have somebody like the LA violinist guy, which we'll get into because we'll follow the timeline of the day.
Yeah.
But they get
At
so
first, it was like
defensive
a
the moment
lot
you're
of
saying,
parents. Sorry.
what's that?
It was like a lot of people coming in, but nowhere near as many as last year. Last year it was so busy, but this year
Yes,
it
way
wasn't.
less
It was
and
very
smaller, like more
way less
condensed.
smaller.
Yes.
And so, right,
See
and the
from
parents were
afar.
very receptive, when they were, they weren't, because, and I made sure, because I understand that the kids are there. I don't want to disappoint the kids are there. My warning is to the parents: don't give them your real information. Know what you're walking into. They're going to be filming your kids for propaganda. If you're okay with that, that's on you. But I'm not going to get
That's what
in.
they're
I didn't get
doing.
into the other stuff that scares the kids or whatever. The
Right.
kids are
And
there.
also, like, I'm not, you're not sitting there like putting kids on camera. That's not what we're doing. We're literally showing the structure of what is happening. Like, this is what's happening. People 10 years, 20 years later go, God, I wonder how people get into this. This is how. This is
Yeah.
how. These are the
And they make
recruitment
them sign
tactics and
up.
events.
And I thought
Sergeant
that.
Stuck. Oh, sorry. Sergeant Suck must have been given some reason why the permit needed to be altered at the last minute. We need to find out what that reason was given. Do you know
Well,
anything about that?
this is just my suspicion, but that's what I mean. I'm working really hard. Like I'm talking to. I don't want to say too much because Scientology, they're listening. I don't want to get force my
And
hand,
also
but
Style
I am
Audit said
talking. But
I'm using voice text to mention the sergeant's name because it did say Sergeant Sucks.
that's funny.
So that was
But
funny.
but this is just my guess. I don't know for sure yet. I'm still waiting on info. My guess is that Scientology, because they sent Northeast Division sent an officer earlier to make sure they were compliant, because it was mentioned during roll call. So I believe what happened, my guess is that they, because they safe point through the CPAB and all that stuff, they had their little buddy in Central Bureau, and they said, hey, like, look, here's the thing. This says sidewalk closed. The page one says sidewalk closed. And then, but they're trying to say I can't, it's not closed. And some sergeant doesn't know the fine details. And, and my bad for not notifying the bureau level. I wish I didn't think of it. But, and he probably said, yes, it says closed. What are they talking about? No, guys, leave it closed, and I don't think there was ill intent. I don't think that I really don't. I don't believe there's ill intent. I don't believe that he was trying to do them a favor. I think that Scientology kind of tricked them, and now sadly,
Yeah.
okay, he's got a complaint, and he'll remember that, and he'll be like, next time he's going to be not so quick to just go do what somebody tells you to do without looking at it further. because that's all he had to do. All he had to do was look into it a little bit further, and he would have seen the truth. You know, he could have talked
And
to the watch
I
commander.
I can't tell you, I can't tell the chat and the world how many times me and Audit have gone, and we're not going to say because we're smart, but how many times we've had meetings with the cities and with certain city officials and individual police officers, and it went amazing. Not one
Yes,
meeting didn't go amazing. Like that's how,
absolutely.
like I'm talking about amazing, like emotionally connected. They totally understand it. Both of us apologize. Now we're buds. We're totally
Yeah,
cool.
and it's like
Like
it will never
everything's
happen
great.
again. Yeah,
So
and
that's what I mean. And this shit will never happen again with these officers. Not even just with me, but any protester that protests Scientology, these officers, these city officials, these people know. They know. They
yes,
know.
maybe not all of them
Um,
yet, but now they're going to see. Now Sergeant Shook
it
sadly has to
spreads.
learn the hard way, but it's okay.
Right.
He'll get through it, and they'll probably say no, he didn't because he didn't know any better. It's going to be, they're not going to rule against them, I'm sure, but it's okay. It's still a wake up call, and he's still going to be reminded. Oh, I better be careful next time. But I'm still going to be working on, because I believe in education. I am not one. I hate complaints. I would rather sit and have a dialogue and talk about it and educate, and so I'm still going to try to do that with this sergeant, and just because
Yeah,
I
absolutely. Because if he is deeply connected in whatever way is where he feels he can't let this Scientology relationship go, then that will be known. It will be
right.
obvious. And so
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so the sergeant gets there and
No, he didn't
overrides.
come. No, he
Oh,
did not come.
sorry. You
He
called the sergeant and no
no,
sergeant came. You asked for
no.
a sergeant,
I
no
called the
sergeant came.
police. No, I called the police. They came. Okay, and I
Yes.
didn't even know about Sergeant Shook and his thing. He, I guess, wrote something because they showed something that he approved of or whatever he signed off on. I didn't get to see it. They wouldn't show me. I asked the officers,
Mm,
"Can you show me what they showed you?" And they said,
mhm.
"No, it's just a permit per the sergeant." The sergeant never showed up. He was not part of. He was not there at all. Excuse me. And so that's what I'm
So
trying
the
to find
sergeant
out.
never came.
No, no, no. He signed off on this before, probably it ever even started. Like when the cops came, they were already prepared. They already, and my guess is
But
they went
so
to the sergeant and had him sign off on it. So he probably signed off on some paper, so when they called and checked in, the
Miriam's
officer probably,
asking, Miriam's asking, could it be that Sergeant Sook made the decision on spot based on Scientology reaching out and saying they have warning about aggressors
yeah,
showing up
that's
and
what
it
I
was
think
made on
happened.
public safety basis? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either
Interesting.
that
See,
yeah,
so, but I feel like if we always like think about the bigger picture and then we follow all this through, I feel that everything we're doing happens because we're doing what we're doing. So like we're opening up, like we're showing the world in a way, the theater version of this is what happens when you give Scientology permits. This is
yeah,
what
you get a
happens. You know what I
complaint.
mean? It just yeah. And so we right now we get to document it and
And push and
document
do
this
the,
behavior because this is there's so many times we've gone back on footage just even the last 3 years where we were like, oh my goodness, thank God we had that on the live because it just shows like the security guards constantly harassing protesters, following them
Mhm.
down the streets. Where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, and just keeping an eye on everybody. Like um things like that. So the
But Silk,
elderly, all that stuff.
but Sergeant Shook left the city liable for a lawsuit. He didn't do his due diligence, and that's
Right.
why it warrants a complaint. You now left like we could sue for any of these incidences, and
Hmm.
and he left the city liable, and so that's what we need to remind the city. This stuff is because to put the street to close the sidewalk off, a public sidewalk, because you don't want somebody speaking or filming or dissenting. That's called prior restraint, and it is highly illegal. And the city, by giving them and not now, if the city wanted to give them the permit, okay, go at it. But then you should have had your own investigators there who know their laws and the rules of the permit there to ensure that it was followed after all the warnings we've given you. And I've been at it with that. And I heard from, Bureau of Street Services the next day. after my
Yeah.
scathing email, and they said no, that
Yeah.
the LAPD did not have any
Right.
or whatever to
Exactly.
change it. So, but they're
And you're
dropping the
surprised
ball by not showing up.
who was the person that promised they believe Scientology would follow the permit?
It's not that nobody believed that they would follow it. They you see they're trying to balance between, because they don't want to be liable to a lawsuit by Scientology either, saying, hey, you're picking on us. We have a right to permit. So I guess whatever reason they gave it to them, maybe because it's Easter, I don't know, whatever reason they gave it to them. But it's not that they believed, nobody believed that they were going to follow it. It's just that they gave very strict rules, and they felt confident that Scientology knows of the rules that they must be followed. But the problem is they did not send their own, like Timo Giannis. And I said, you're not going to be there. It's Easter. I know you're not going to be working on Easter you're the investigator, or, and I've offered to do it, whatever, I'll do it for free, and but I said, is there a number to call if they don't follow it? And I never heard back. They never gave me any way, you just had to follow up with the police, which we did. And the cops were there. They're like, yeah, we heard about it. So they were ready to enforce it until they got this, Scientology said, no, we have this from, Sergeant Shook. And I guess their watch commander checked, and yes, he did, said that he has the right to override it. And so
That's
it's,
just, yeah.
yeah,
So
we
are
don't
we
know all the ins
still
and outs yet. We don't. That's still an
okay?
ongoing process of me
Yeah. I want to know more.
CPRAs,
I want to know
discussions. There'll be
who.
follow-ups,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Look at audit.
but
There'll
that's
be
down the
follow-up.
road. There'll be follow-ups, but for that
Um,
day, you know,
okay, so that's what happened. So then you come back on, so then they're not letting you through and all that happens. So then you
so
go
I go
on
the other
down the other
side.
side
Yeah,
and catch some air. And then I feel like that's when I was like, okay, I'm like 15 minutes, 20 minutes away.
yeah. I probably on that side. Maybe
Wasn't
I
there
want to say an
somebody
hour.
standing on that? Wasn't there somebody like standing on that side outside the blue building that was like filming you or something?
Yeah, I mean,
Outside
there was some
AOLA,
investigators. Yeah, there was like an
like
investigator,
with the red
and
shirt,
yes, yeah,
older
and so
guy.
yeah, yep. We know how they roll. It's like, okay, it's fine. And I tell Osa, I pick them up. I
Yeah,
saw them at the station. They'll probably follow me. They do it. It's like, okay, go for it, whatever. Like, I'm going to film you too. I mean, and
literally.
you're
That's
doing wrong.
okay.
So, okay, we're in
Right.
public. I understand that. But, and then there's that old man who, with the I felt bad, with the really bad I don't know how to say it, osteoporosis,
Osteoporosis.
yeah, paralysis in his back and his upper spine, and it was so hot, he could barely walk, to and then
Yeah.
from. And I got so mad. And I told Alex and Jennifer, like, seriously, guys, I don't understand why you lack compassion and you're letting this man in this heat. I said, he's disabled. I said, that is cruel. And I said, if I ever see it again, I am calling Adult Protective Services on you. Like, if I ever see any elderly person working on the street in heat, I'm literally going to just call Adult Protective Services. And like
I just
Jennifer,
feel so bad because I feel like that man is just going to be told, like, hey, you can't walk around because you look like a degraded being when you're walking around.
no, he was working though. They were having him carry stuff. I'm not talking
Well,
about walking
I'm just
around.
gonna say, I'm telling you though,
Yeah.
what I'm
Oh,
saying to
yeah.
them is they'll say walking around, but they're saying like the way you're it becomes his fault. So you could be telling
Of
them
course.
that, but they're just gonna tell him, don't go outside when the protesters are there, you know?
Well, yeah, and yeah, I know, I get that, but I was just furious because that man, like, he could barely walk across the street. No, and I'm like telling Alex, why are you not helping him across the street? He was barely being able to walk across. Like, he could barely look like he could walk or breathe. It was just, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Like, I'm
No,
already thinking maybe I should have called Adult Protective Services already,
I
but
mean, but the other thing is there's other people we can tell about that. But um I just think that the frame of mind of Jennifer, Alexander, Odo, all these people is literally that what they're doing is so right that no, even if what you're saying is right, even if they're like, okay, that sounds legit, they're like, it's not my thing. it's not in my department, not my division. I'm sure Scientology will eventually handle it. But what we're doing is the greater good. We're doing the greatest good for the greater number of dynamics. So
Well,
we
then,
can shove you off the sidewalk if we need to. Like they
well,
just
I
think
wish
they're
they could
above the
think.
law. They're
I thought they could do that with their little mind tricks, right? OT levels, right? Why can't
right.
they, like move us off the
Yeah.
sidewalk or put,
Yeah.
like mind, move my chair and
Move
scoot away.
right.
I thought
And
you had that power.
why do all the OTs coming out with their briefcases have to like struggle getting into the why don't they leave the freaking rope thing open? Why are they closing off the like Easter event to the OTs coming out of the building to go to
They're
the
so
canteen or
dumb.
something to eat? It's
Because
so
and
dumb.
Michael,
It's like you have the security guard just unhooking the rope for these OTs to come through. And it's literally like, you guys are OTs. You should be practicing to remove the thing with your mind. Open it. Look
yeah,
at these.
jump over it, fly
That
over
would
it,
be
right?
interesting. Don't you think that
Yeah,
would be interesting if we
yeah.
literally were
We should
watching
challenge them.
OT fives, OT six, OT sevens, just like moving, no security guard needed, thank you, and the thing just
Yeah,
lifted up and they just went through
yeah.
like
But see, it
that.
never happens. Wonder
I
why?
would stop protesting immediately.
Me
I'd
too.
be
Be like,
like,
oh, we need
wait
to
a
rethink
minute,
this.
there's something here.
We need to rethink it.
Okay,
I
so
know.
there was many
And
things
Al,
there. There were many things there on my end. So then I come up, I have my van, I pull up. Of course, they have all their Scientology metered parking spots taken up by the revolving door of Scientologists. That all of a sudden, next one, I just pull right in when you're leaving, so that nobody parks around there. But so I pulled up, and yes, same thing. It was interesting. A lot of people were hearing. I was just saying this is a scam, and you can tell, like, just right away, a bunch of security and security and their hired security. So they're fake Space Navy Sea Org security plus the hired security, just like, oh, here she is. Like here, it just was already this, where it's not fair. You already have like the book on this person. I can just already feel it. But so as I go in, I'm also coming in pretty loud and just saying, hey guys, just so you know, happy Easter, but this is a Scientology recruitment scam. If you don't want your kids on camera and stuff, this is what Scientology is using to promote their next pamphlet, just things like this. So I'm doing this. It's super hot though. It was like,
it was hot.
kind of like humidity or something. And it was just like,
yeah, it was
oh
brutal.
my God, it is so effing hot. And so they had the whole sidewalk that was opened. The majority of the sidewalk was covered with these huge billboards that went up, and then with the green tarp, very similar exactly to what they did at the Shrine Auditorium when they don't want people filming or protesting, and they don't want people inside hearing or seeing protesters or signs. So they put up these big things so that they can separate their event. There's no reason that Scientology had to have that at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason they needed to have walls up like that. They just have
But I know,
excuses.
but then they had a whole bunch of places that didn't, which was weird. So they weren't consistent with it. So why even bother?
They're just trying to do it as much as they can without it looking like they're literally trying to keep people in a box. But it keeps people from filming and from protesting. They never did this kind of stuff. Never. They only did this recently since the Shrine Auditorium. I swear, since I started seeing my dad, since I yelled and saw my dad, and since all of the live streamers on YouTube started filming, like being able to show that people can, you can just film the way that these Sea Org indentured servants act and respond to normal behavior. Like, they're just like, ask them a question. Oh, I can't answer. Oh, what's Scientology? Oh, you just have to go find a book. Like, what? Okay.
You know what else made me really upset though? Because, we're speaking of how much indentured servants. So, well, first of all, poor Alex, I didn't mean to be making him paranoid, but he must have been out in the sun so long. His whole eyebrows, eyelashes were being bleached like platinum blonde. He was getting paranoid about it. But I was talking to the other guards who make a full salary, op sync, and I'm like, don't you care that you're making your full pay, whatever, and this guy's making 47 if he's lucky, and and not one of them care. They're all like, I don't care, it's not my problem. Like that's I'm like, and I'm like, Alex, go to these guys and find out how much they make. You're doing the same work. Actually, you're doing more because they're only working the hours of this event. Then they go home. You're working from like
Mhm.
morning, noon, and night till midnight, right? So,
Yeah.
and these guys, they didn't care. And I'm like, you guys, and I was like saying, you guys are inhumane. You guys are like no ethics. Like I wouldn't want you securing anything because you have no like ethics. And
Right. It's
it was
it, it's
disgusting.
it's weird. It's a weird line. They're there to do a job, and then they're like hearing this, and then I mean, at some point they must know like their job is the reason they're there is because of us. Like, how
Yeah.
stupid is that? Like, it's so
Yep.
stupid. And so yeah, they're gonna follow. They're they're on Disneyland property. You're gonna be following Disneyland rules.
That's true. To
Um,
get your paycheck. Yep.
yeah,
And there's a lot of new, I see they're starting to recycle these OpSync guys because I've put in several complaints to them too. Like they're on their last, they all have their patches because that company is on its last warning that they are going to be severely fined if there's one more time where their officers don't have patches on. So always look for the patches for the OpSync guys.
yeah,
But
exactly.
they're recycling fast because remember it used to always be Ted was always there. That other guy, I forget his name. Like there was consistent people, but now it's like they're even the guy that he's gone too. The guy that assaulted Ashley with that that guy. Like it's all new people. So I think
Yep.
they're recycling people. They're like, it's not worth it. We don't want to get all these complaints and that's what helps. Like
Right.
call the BSIS and file complaints on these guys. They're armed, and why do they need armed guards at Easter or whatever? But that's like that alone should have been enough for the parents to be like, why does the church need armed guards at Easter? But
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's all
Period.
new
At an
guards,
event that they don't believe in. Like it's
right?
all it's so fucking weird that this is actually having to have to be like described and shown. It's like this is
Yeah.
awkward. This is weird. How do you not just see the whole thing? You're like you're
Hmm.
too in it. You're too in it.
Yep.
Look at what's
Yeah.
happening. These are the basic
Hmm.
things. Why do you have guns at an Easter party? Why do you have 6 security guards? Why do you have everything closed off? Why do you have Sea Org members in uniform? Why is all the walls on the inside all way to happiness L. Ron Hubbard structure literature?
Most of
Like,
that's just because of us, like they're so scared
no,
of
they've
you and
always,
me.
oh, I mean, yeah, that. I
Yeah,
was
the
going to say
others,
they always promote her
everything up
way to
until that
happiness.
last one. Everything up
Uh-huh.
until the last one is just all because of the protesters and not,
Yeah,
that's before I'm
that's
sure it was
why.
very
And
open
so
and
it's very interesting. So I think like, this is how we're doing it. This is nobody can say, oh, this is the way you do it, because this hasn't, nobody's been doing what we're doing. This is the first time we've been going into the city and going hard and doing this. And documenting it all, like live streaming for the last
mhm,
2-3 years. So everybody's amazing. Everybody in the chat, everybody that helps,
yes,
everybody who supports, everybody who chalks, everybody who comes and paints stones, and just like everything. It's like
everything.
so
Hmm.
supportive. Ashley bringing freaking her game and her freaking translation, and then also bringing me a coconut water and Gatorade. Oh my
Oh, I
God.
know she
Thank
got me
God.
one too. But actually, the translation thing, I'm glad you mentioned that
It's so
because
good.
I left, okay,
In
and
the
we
hot
went.
boiling sun.
Yes, we went to Bike Guy and I went to Wendy's. This, Bike Guy, he wanted to eat lunch, and so there was a family that left there because they had the Easter basket. I saw them there, and they were sitting next to us. So Ashley was translating. I'm like, keep it up, and I had it real loud. And the father was like, he kept looking at like and listening. I'm like, yeah, like listen. And so they were being educated in more depth because she was. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
And we should get some of these flyers in Spanish.
Yes. And yeah, and the pamphlets and all of that. yeah, there was so many people, even after I ended the live stream, and even after Ashley ended the live stream, we went down and we were hanging out with Roberta and Bob, all them doing their chalking and live streaming with the skateboard coming with their signs. They went up with,
That was
he
cool.
dressed up as Jesus at one point and went up on the skateboard, and you'd like, Jesus would be shamed, would be ashamed. Because they're all of that belief and all that. So
Yeah, and I didn't get to
anyways,
go down that street to see the sidewalk art because they
it's
won't
epic.
fix the sidewalk.
You can see it, at least you can see it on my live stream. If you go back, you can see
Yeah,
the epic detailed, like Snow White holding the sign, like just
yeah, they do amazing
Operation
work.
Snow White. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Super
I'm sure it's
amazing.
amazing, but it's like I'm not going to get stuck here because like I don't even go down that street anymore. It's they need to
Right.
fix it.
They need to
But
fix the
yeah,
sidewalk
I'm glad
and
they did this.
not with their indentured servants. What's up,
No,
Vanessa? So okay, so yeah, so then the chalking, and then okay, so at one point after the violin guy comes and he comes out of, at first I don't even know who this violin guy is. He
yeah, he
comes
was.
out of the garage, the Scientology garage right there, the red brick garage that's right next to the
Mhm.
hotel, whatever, that little Scientology indentured elderly abuse holding building. He comes out of there and he's like, kind of like, oh, I'm like, it's an abusive cult. It's okay to leave Scientology. And he was like, said something out his window, like, uh, and then I didn't hear him, and I said, "Oh, what's up?" And I said, "What?" or something, and he was like, I, some of us have to make money. I'm a musician, and I'm the #1 LA
Yeah,
violinist." And he yelled that out, and I said, "Okay, what does that have to do with associating with Scientology?" I said, "You're coming out of their garage." And then I was like, "Oh," and then so he starts going, and I said, "Oh, so you're going to this event?" And then that's where it started. And so
yeah, he was a little
at one
obnoxious.
obnoxious. This guy, Edgar, he literally was like throwing his equipment into his vehicle at a certain point, like so mad. Well, now I am going to Palm Springs and to another. And I was like, why? Stop throwing your shit in your car. And I was like, get
Guilty
your TRs
conscience.
in. Get your TRs in. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah. Anyways, so there was so much then. I swear, I don't know if that was before this or after this. I go back up that sidewalk, the one sidewalk that is open, and I'm going up and I see like this tall dude and a bunch of like little guinea pig people like kind of following him. And I look and it's Tom Cummins. It's
Yeah,
one of
I've
the
looked him
big
up since then. Yeah,
donators, yeah, of Scientology. One of the #1 donate. This guy has donated millions to Scientology, and he comes walking down the sidewalk. So I yelled, Tom Cummins, have you seen the lawsuits that David Miscavige is in right now in Los Angeles? And I just start going at it. And at first he waved because he was like, whoa, who's yelling my name? And he waved and was kind of like, and then I started telling him, and then he just kind of like, oh, and he just kept walking because he knew. But I forgot what I said. I just started yelling the lawsuits, like when is he going to get his confront up? When is he going to actually get his TRs and things like that?
that's awesome. I wonder
But
why
that
he
was
was there.
wild. But that was my next thing. What the fuck is Tom? Not what is he doing here? This is such a PR event that Tom Cummins is here to make sure he can safe point and connect with whoever he can. It's all about recruitment. It's all about money, getting money in. Who can we get? Who are the next people? Like he was sitting at a table a little bit with this whole group of families that I zoomed in on because I want to know who are they safe pointing next. It's just like this is super important. This is one of your #1 donators of Scientology walking down the sidewalk of the Easter event, like, pretending like he's some joyous God and so happy to see everybody. And
And they
he's
had the
he's
real
the
big
one.
cameras with the big, that big silver screen thing. So they had real photographers
And they're
there too.
filming it though, and they're
Yeah.
videoing it, and they're filming it like, oh, Tom Cummins going to get another reward. Look at, he paid for all these new Way to Happiness books, all these new ARC books for the kids. These are the types of awards he gets. These are the types of fucking jerk off sessions that keeps them in. Tom Cruise, John Travolta, all these things, and then getting pressured by the executives. You're either in or you're out, you know.
Yeah. Well, it could be too, like they picked that one because they're not getting permits, Harley. The last one was, when was the last permit they even got? It was way back, you know, so
a
it might be
while
like,
ago.
okay, it was a long
And it was
time ago.
super upsetting to see that they got this. And then,
It's
okay,
where
so
Ashley
two
got
things.
assaulted.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not only that, Ashley also heard them. She has this on her camera, where they announced later in the night, or either somebody has this, where they announced that they're going to be there for the 4th of July. They said they did a whole announcement that they're going to be there again. Come back. We'll be here on the 4th of July for Independence Day.
Okay, well, we need to be working. They better have that on their property. That's all I can say. Because,
but I'm just saying, so it's like this is planning and planning. They're always planning. They're always infiltrating. They're always on the next thing. They're always seeing what the city's doing. They're always inviting people to the next Scientology event. Oh, come take a tour. Come do this. Oh, we have just for you a private invitation to L. Ron Hubbard's house. It's been rebuilt and whatever, you know.
Yeah. And
Cat
then,
Ocean says, "Oh my God, Tom Cummins was at the Chicago org opening, and I confronted him, and he called me an asshole."
Oh wow!
I'm sure he called me something. He probably, "You fucking SP." You have to go far back, La Valette. I asked if he helped me with investing. That's funny.
That's so cool. That's funny. But yeah, these people, and and then now, like if you look, you know, just to promote, I guess plug. Yesterday we did a live on Mona's stream about the New Jersey, that there's a lot of interaction there. So you might want to go, if you didn't see it, go check out Mona's stream yesterday where we all talked about what's going on in New Jersey. But
yeah, Mona, go to Mona Fat Grammys. And you guys, some people, for me, it's like, if we tell you to look back on something or watch something, it's super important because there's so many little details of it can sound boring, but then at the end you're like, oh, that's why all these little things have to be done, because at a certain city operates a certain way, public comment operates a certain way, things like this. So if you learn it one time. And so for me, if you have to put me on double speed, which I probably sound like a chickmunk, but for other people, you can put it on double speed or speed and a half or whatever it is, so that you can just kind of get through and just get the message and the data, because it's super important. So I definitely, yes, thank you, Jojo. I was about to say,
yeah, the first like 8 minutes, maybe we're kind of fumbling, or it's just we're having technical difficulties. But yeah, it's just what's going on in New Jersey, that they are very well planted there because there's no opposition. I mean, there is now. You know, I've been addressing a lot of that stuff, but we had to find out where they haven't had any opposition and provide the opposition. So Chicago, there's opposition, you know, here, Florida, but in Jersey, there's, you know, in that area, there's not. So it's important to know where it's at. And then even just an email or something, like we really need to get where, if anyone doesn't want to, you can be anonymous, but you want to get involved, even emailing about on this I keep saying Father's Day, Easter Sunday. Okay, you can reach out and file a complaint with Bureau of Street Services. Why didn't you have an investigator? I see people's rights being violated, or, you know, do it to the police and say, hey, why did you overturn the Bureau of Street Services? They're very clear on their directives, on their rules. You know, there's ways to get involved where you don't have to go to meetings if you don't want to, or, you know, show up at a org to protest if you don't want to. And like, we're going to work on, like I said, templates, I think, where, you know, stuff like that. Mona's hands are needed all. Yes. Yeah. I mean, and there's just a lot. So there's always something people can do.
Oops. Yeah. So there's
even just watching and learning, right? Even just learning. So, you know,
that's the first thing. That's what I'm saying. So watch, like, honestly, audit. How did I learn to do public comment? We
You came and
watched
did it.
you do it. We watched your live streams over and over. Up, audits at the city meetings. Up, who's going to be there now? Up, look at these weirdos. Oh, so and so. Oh, that person from City Hall said they dislike Scientology. We heard it. We heard it. Whatever.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like there was all these little things that were exciting. And as you go, you learn how people talk. You learn like, oh, well, that wouldn't be my department. You'd have to talk to so and so. And you start
Yeah.
learning all the titles. And sadly, I was born and raised in the cult of Scientology, and they're very much about organization boards and superiors and seniorities and all this. So a lot of it makes sense to me
Yeah.
in
The
a
city's the
screwed
same
up
way.
way.
But they don't know what each
Yeah,
other's doing. That's the only thing. They have all these different departments, and they don't know what their real job is. And that's what I'm learning. And they don't really know what each other is doing. So it's very. So we're not only going to help them unplug from Scientology. Hopefully, we're going to help them get structure to where the city can all be on the same page. Because once Beer Street Services puts out a permit with its rules, LAPD should know what that is and have a full understanding, because they need to know what each other's doing.
exactly, 100%. Okay, so I talked to you about Tom Cummins. That's crazy, right?
I know.
I
I
just
wish I
love
saw
that.
that.
I know, and I'll send you. I'm gonna.
It was after I left, right? It was
I'm
after.
in the middle of packing and going in the middle of my new adventure, guys. But you will all be with me. You will all come with me. But I wish I could show you the clip, but when I do find it, I'll post it and probably do a little short or whatever. But it's just wild that here in Los Angeles, right here at the Easter freaking Scientology scam protest, Easter event that we protested, you have somebody who is a huge donator and supporter of Turning Point USA money wise, and politically that's a huge, Trump, sort of Florida side of things, coming to Los Angeles to be at this event that we're protesting and they're getting this footage and cameras. Like, this is how they keep their internal members brainwashed, and how they infiltrate, they sort of blur this line of political sides and everything, because Scientology could just be in both. Scientology can do everything. Oh, whatever it is, the left's doing this now, or the right's doing this of Scientology, then they're all going to support that. I remember in Clearwater, I didn't know anything, but I still don't know anything about politics, but I knew nothing about politics when I was in Clearwater, and I was also underage. At one point, I think when I turned 16, I was like, "Ooh, I can vote. I think you can vote." I think at 16 in Clearwater, but anyways, or 17, whatever it was, I was able to vote, and I just felt so weird. Not only that I didn't know how to vote, like I didn't know where to even begin, or like whatever, but that my vote had already been previously made for me. The Office of Special Affair already tells internal Sea Org members who they're voting for. They literally do a whole base briefing on who the SPs are, who leans towards psychiatry, who they make up all this bullshit to just end up telling you who you vote for. And in the end, you're just kind of like, okay, so who you just don't, you're not, nothing makes sense other than the internal Scientology Sea Org world. And so if there is any choice, you're just voting because somebody told you to, because of that's the greater good for Scientology.
We should look into, does he have any like Twitter or anything? Because I have a feeling he was there for another reason. Don't forget, we're getting into an election cycle, the mayor and all these things. So, they have a very vested interest in LA politics and who's going to get in. So it'd be interesting if anyone wants to really follow and keep the pulse on what's going on in LA politics, because they're, the mayor's coming up for a vote, city attorney, the Hugo. And so it'd be interesting to follow what they're doing there. And he may have been here for something to deal with that.
100%. And I guarantee you he did multiple things. I'm sure. I mean, this is going to be fun. We'll do a little research. I mean, he's a public figure, so I'm sure we'll be able to see what Tom Cummins has been up to in Los Angeles this past week, the Easter weekend and this whole past week. So yeah, like that's, I'm sure we'll see it later in magazines. We'll be like, oh, that's what was going on here. I mean, but say you didn't hear it here first.
Right. Well, because I always like to dig. I like to, investigate and just, yeah, why
Yeah.
are you here? Because I mean, why would you come to an Easter event? And I want to make another observation, because another research thing that I would like to do. Okay, like what was very different, besides less families coming this year, was the very large amount of Asian families. And so I'm like, how would the Asian families know about this? So they have to be reaching out to the Asian populations. And so I want to try to find out, but it's hard because there's language barriers. And I tried asking if any, like, where did you hear about it? And, some said, I think they were looking for things or on Facebook. So we kind of maybe need to kind of see where they're trying to reach out, because it was like a lot. So I have a feeling they're reaching out to maybe Asian
I mean, I
temples or
know they
something.
do Party Full and they do the event things, Eventbrite and all that. So it's like people just think yeah.
But
They
there's a lot
just
of
go
people with
to any
language
platform and
barriers.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So they're
And it'll
reaching
say
out in those
free, all
communities.
invited. Right.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
so so I'm thinking we really need to hit the Asian communities and say point them and maybe get
Or we
something
could
in.
even pay attention, maybe chat, and all of us can pay attention on Eventbrites or on Party, like any of these event booking where people go to buy tickets for these like open events, and just see if any of them are Church of Scientology or on L. Ron Hubbard Way, any of that. It's all run by Scientology. So maybe we can be alerted and we'll be able to tell them, or even be able to put in the comments. Most of the time they will turn off comments right away because they don't
Right.
want people to know that
But
it's a
and look in
Scientology
different, like
event.
look in Mandarin, look in Japanese,
Yes,
those languages, because
absolutely.
there was there had to be, because there was like a huge number. And and so I just feel that they're trying to reach that, because again, they always want people who can bring in family members from they can use their R1 visas, because they know they're pretty much toast, with the American community. So they are definitely reaching out to other communities, and so we got to
Uh,
protect them too.
yeah,
Anyone
she
voting
said,
for
and
Spencer
voting for
Pratt?
Spencer.
Do you think that's who Scientology's following? Because I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see who they're going
So
to
it's the only
follow.
it's the only one who I don't know who else is running for
Oh,
mayor other than
well,
him
city
against Karen
council
Bass.
person, what's her name? Ramen is running too, and she's actually doing pretty good, like in her numbers, So
Yeah,
Nikia
so
Ramen.
I mean, honestly, even going and doing these announcements that we do, both of us and all of us, even when Streets LA mentions Scientology, anybody who mentions Scientology, it's always, even when people come, the new people get running up for election, and they understand like, there's something I could do about that. They all know there's something that these people, they constantly see us, they constantly hear us. There's something that they know that they can do in the future, if they in the future hold the position of being the mayor or having some sort of bigger position, where they can actually go, oh wow, Scientology is infiltrating. Once they get to that position, they'll know, because not because but because we've raised the awareness of people to watch out for their infiltrated front groups. I think that anybody in the future, as long as we keep going and more people keep adding and more people call in, they end up the word gets spread. So it ends up becoming more of a group understanding, like, okay, be aware, Scientology may try to infiltrate. I don't know. I just like that idea.
I do too. And I'd like to talk about Nithya Raman for a second. Okay, so we go before Nithya Raman for the past 2 years. She's a city council person. She's the city council person for the Celebrity Center. And we've been educating her for 2 years at the big meeting and at the littler meetings. She is hearing, I'm not saying, I don't know what she believes or not, but she did not go. And I found out because she was invited to the Christmas parade. And I checked, I'm like, did she go? And they said, no, she did not go. So she knew enough not to go. Like, nobody wants to, I don't think, the wrath of us coming at the meeting and like, what the heck were you doing there? The police chief didn't go either. But, and so so we have the opportunity. like, yes, you can email, but anyone that wants to go to City Hall and speak, the possible future mayor is sitting on that city council, every week. And, now they're going to be doing call-ins as well. And so get her attention, I mean? Like, she needs to be, she's already getting educated, but all we have to do is keep educating her and let her know we don't want to see her at any Scientology events, even if it's going to hurt her campaign more than help it. Like with Alex Villanueva running for the sheriff again. Once we called him out, we made a big stink about it. He canceled his plans to speak there. Of course, they want to go there, get some money, get some whatever, but it's getting to be where like everyone they're starting to realize no, that it doesn't fare well. like because what Mayor Bass what Caruso put Bass through with the Scientology connection. So I think they're learning. A lot of them, I see so many invites, and so many of the politicians or police commission where they're like, oh, just, get me out of it. Like, no, thank you. They're not being rude about it. They're just saying, no, we're busy or I can't do it. And which is good. So they're getting less and less hold. And you can see it at the CPAB meeting. Didn't you not see, like, you were there, right? Or with Janet was like trying to make like little baby, like, googly eyes at the captain to get his attention, like that eye, about, like, and he was just like, yeah, I like, and he wouldn't, like it used to always be, oh, she gets hugs, whatever. And no, they know, like when we're there, like we don't want to see it, and they feel that heat. So keep that pressure on. Where no, we don't even want her on there.
And also, we'll talk about that. So really quickly after the Easter event, then that following Monday we called Public Works and we did that, and then Tuesday we went into the police commission meeting. And they had everybody in a line waiting outside when I got there to get in. And at a certain point, they were saying, oh, it's full now. It's too full. The fire department said it's too full. And I was just like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, so I started to already get amped up a bit. I was professional, but still amped up. I was like, I'm letting you know, I'm literally getting triggered. This is not okay. If you're having us have to wait out here, then the meeting shouldn't start. Like I said, if Teresa didn't get in and she was waiting, wouldn't you, you know what I mean? So, and there's two open, I could see on Audit's live stream, there was two open front rows and there was a bunch of empty seats. So I was already worked up. Audit finally gets called. I eventually finally get in. I kind of calm myself down. But so Audit does her public comment. Then I went up and also did my public comment. And I just feel like there are people constantly, every time we go, that pay attention more and more and more. Some people that had been watching us do this are finally coming up to us that we weren't sure if they liked us or not. And we don't care, honestly. But it's nice when people get along. And they come up and they're like, you guys are really doing, I can see people are like, people are really listening. And it's super hard to get that feedback when you're in the city and there's so many people who have so many complaints and concerns that are so valid that I don't want to pull away from it. But at the same time, I'm like, if Scientology is in anybody's business or in anybody's religion or in anybody's help plan, you're doomed to fail, like, period. So I think that helps anybody. It helps the city to know this is super corrupt. And I'm leaning more now towards, please go out of your way. I like to let the city know, please go out of your way in whatever position and whatever authority and whatever power you may have that you may have collected over your really powerful career and your life. Try to do something good for the people that are stuck in this cult and the children that have been born and raised in this cult. Try to do whatever it is you could as if I was your own family member, or if somebody else there was your own family member. Try to put in your boots. What is that? Walk in the boots of somebody who is either in the Sea Org or was born and raised in Scientology, and they have members and their depleted life has been drained by Scientology. Try to put yourself, if you were their cousin, if you were their uncle, if that was your brother, if that was your sister, if that was your really good best friend and you got out and now they're stuck in there, what would you do in your city position to try to be like, hey, in my position, I can do this, so I'm going to do it. Please do that. We're asking
I
you
think
to
that's a
please
great
do
ask.
that. Please just,
Yep.
and that's all you need to ask in anything. When you do public comment, just please ask the city and in your position, whatever it is you can do to expose Scientology's manipulative tactics and to shut them down when they try to come in and be nice and say, hey, can we be a part of your, cleanup programs? Can we be a part of your CPAPs, your neighborhood council? No. Scientology, no. Separate state and church. Either
Yep.
you're not a religion and you're a business and we'll take action further from there, or your state, you're a church. You're separate from state. So I don't know. And validating people to hopefully be a part of exposing the future, taking down Scientology because of the simple thing they could do by not allowing them permits, or to demand that they had their sidewalks open so that you could randomly walk down the sidewalk and see everything, but also to document the indentured servants that are walking back and forth, doing all the work, running the whole event.
Right. And at bare minimum, if they're going to give them a permit with all the knowledge and evidence that we've provided, at least then, if you're going to give them a permit on Easter Sunday, then have one of your investigators down there on Easter Sunday to make sure they abide by it, because you are leaving this. If you don't want to do it for other reasons, the city is being liable. And at the end of the day, if the city gets sued for a lot of money over it, they're going to be like, well, how did this happen? They're going to find out that you allowed it, even though you were forewarned, and there's a good chance you'll lose your job. So do it for selfish reasons if you have to. If you don't have the kindness of your heart to do it, you are leaving the city liable, and that's going to not fare very well in the end, because it's you can't. It's going to come, and I told her we're at the point, right? I guess we're just going to have to sue, to wake them up, because that's what it's going to take.
I think that's what all this is lining up to. It's showing,
Yeah.
okay, the city, for some reason, at a certain point, if the city can't change something that the city is responsible for, then that's sorry, but we got to take it legally.
Consequences, yes. And then maybe a federal judge will say,
Right.
you know what, yeah, it needs to be dealt with, just like that judge. Somebody did it with the lawsuit for the housing money and stuff, and the federal they came in and they're holding trials. I know they're holding contempt trial cases now. And it's interesting, what I mean? But that's what it's going to take, eventually, if they don't stop. And hopefully they just stop and do the right thing. Like,
Yeah.
at least make sure your permits are being honored, and and even make it even stricter.
Yep.
Or just don't give it to them. Like, why put yourself, this don't give it to
That's
them.
the thing.
Like,
And also, like, they should be able to explain why do they need to close down a city street for an event when they have a full, huge parking lot that is constantly empty, that they have to constantly pretend is full by allowing the Cedars-Sinai people to park there.
yeah, and they have a huge
And it's
building. They
part
have
of their
floors and
tactic to
floors.
recruit the Cedars-Sinai members, though. It's part of their tactics to be able to hand them a pamphlet, to be able to get them in Dynetics, to be able to wave to the same receptionist every day, hi, so that you're friendly to them. It's all, I love that I can hit my mic, hit my thing, and nothing happens. I'm just so
That's
great.
awesome.
Okay, so Scientology Up North says, question, Laura, please advise for my next meeting with aggressive Scientologists. Scientology Up North, I was in the live stream yesterday, maybe the day before yesterday. This guy who I guess has already been harassing them, Scientology simp, who's a Scientologist over there, came over there and was just saying, like, who's paying you? Who's paying you? I just want to know. And for hours. And I started getting in the chat being like, start talking about David Miscavige lawsuits, start talking about the child abuse, start talking, and there was something that got him where he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go, but yeah, you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what a suppressive is. What is suppressive? It's just so funny. And T just nailed it. So yes, I think you nailed it. And the advice I would always give is constantly talk about the facts. Talk about, why do children sign billion-year contracts? Why does anybody sign a billion-year contract? Why do Sea Org internal members get paid $47 a week and choose to be in an organization where they're not allowed on their own free will to go and do something without permission? They have to always get CSW approval. So that's always a thing. Everything they do, fun, negative, if anything, they have to get approval. Ask them, why do you have to get permission? For example, Tories did this. Why do you have to get permission to read a book? Why are you only allowed to read certain books? Why can't you read why can't you read every book? That's one thing. Just like basic things, but also I think Scientology up north did a great job by just continuing to recite all the BS, like the BS lines, and then throwing in there, like, why is it acceptable that Sea Org members have to get abortions, things like this, just so that they have to constantly OSA and security is monitoring all this. Scientology is very well known for their wiretapping. It's just hard to get evidence when only one side has the evidence of all the wiretapping because they're doing it. But
out in public, there's no expectation of privacy,
right,
so they get away with it. But
right.
what? Just to kind of bring up with that, what I mentioned about Alexander, like when you're talking about like that, like I was talking about, like, I just want to get you a Starbucks. Why can't you go to Starbucks? Can I at least go get you one? Can you have that? And then Laura said, and he was like, he goes, no, I'm good, but he was like talking to me about what would be his favorite. And then Laura mentioned him, hey, you're not allowed to talk to her. She's connected to an SP, and he got scared. He's like,
what are you
doing?
Oh
my God, I forgot. Like he got scared.
Literally, like, what are you doing? You better don't blur the line, because now you're blurring the line. You're making it easy to talk to a suppressive. I'm like, you better be knowing you're talking to an SP here. I said, I'm a suppressed. I'm like, yeah, I'm a declared SP. You think it's okay to be speaking to me?
Yeah. So that's, I think you can get them, like, you can kind of get them on those things and catch them.
That's another thing. Exactly. Scientology of North, so funny. We can't stop. We won't stop. Exactly.
That's right. We won't.
Great job, ladies.
Oh, thank you. And hi to everyone. It's hard. We can't always, I can't, can't answer all everything, but with this, I thank you all for the support and all the great questions and comments. And I think Mona who said about maybe we could help on Nithya Raman's campaign. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not sure. I want her. Yeah, I mean, we could. I mean, I'm not sure if I want her for mayor, but we can
talk to her. We can give it a go. Me and you will give it a go. Mona, that's a good idea. Maybe, our next stop at City Hall, we'll think about that.
Ask her about it
when we're doing our public comment.
I love you too, Jojo. I mean, and she's, there's like I don't agree with her with a lot of stuff, but she's been really nice. When I said, hey, you owe me an apology, she gave it, whatever. I don't know. She's just funny. Like she can, I don't know. She's pretty cool and chill. I mean, the mayor's been nice to me too. I can't lie. She's been nice to me too. They're not they're not all mean, vicious people.
Absolutely
but we need to get that. No, I don't want Karen Bass. I agree. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, in general, how they treat you, how they treat you. But she has to go. And so, basically, I'm going to tell all of them, even with Hugo, that we're going to see who's going to be the most likely to listen to us. Hugo, we already know it's not you. So because you've done zero, zilch, anything. The only thing he did was not support a streetification. And so they kind of dropped the idea. That's the only thing I can see that he's done anything about. And he didn't even do anything. He just said they took a stand.
I feel like when something, I feel like the pamphlet thing really worked. I think that we can continue doing ideas like that because those visuals and having the physical thing and them being annoyed, that literally Hugo and the assistant guy that's always like walking with him literally told me, he's like, oh, and I said, can I just give you this? And I handed it straight to him, even though I knew they all were supposed to get their pamphlets. And he literally, and I had been giving them out again to a bunch of people at City Hall. The assistant guy goes, oh, he goes, you know what? There's actually 3 of them I saw in the office there. And I was like, okay, good. So yes, brochures in Spanish is super important.
Mhm. But he should
I
be
would,
doing something about the labor issues. I'm wondering if he would take a meeting with us. I'm thinking, I just keep assuming no, but I shouldn't assume. I mean, I should request it, and especially with the
but
labor because
also
he's a labor guy.
even just to get a meeting to speak about the neighborhood abuse and like how they absolutely can help the homeless in so many ways, and that they're literally just using their bases as military bases to control people in the
Yes.
cult of Scientology. So it's
And
like
the fact that
either
they
you're going to
can't do
allow
this.
Scientology to exist and you're going to allow them to keep doing their weird booga booga bullshit, abusive criminal shit, but then it has to be opened up. Then you have to open up and say, hey, look, this abuse is going on. Either you let them keep doing whatever they're going to do, but then the abuse has to stop. So
And then we need to work
which
to
one
make
is
sure
it?
he's out of office. Like if he, I'd say, but then we need to rally the troops. Like we're going to support people who are listening, and we're not going to support people. We're going to oppose people who are not. Because that guy, I want to talk to the guy from East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. Can't think of his name offhand, but he's running against Hugo. And we went to his meetings. I mean, I don't think, Laura, I don't think you ever got to come to those meetings because they haven't had meetings in a few months. But I think it's important to get him. And but you've seen him because he's been at the CPAB meetings at Northeast. And I want to see what he has to say about it because maybe he'll listen and I'll support him.
Yeah,
Bringing
I'm
up their
down too.
arsenal. What do you mean about bringing up their arsenal? I want to bring up this, like Hugo ran and won about
Uh,
protecting the unions, okay, and workers. And why are you not
yeah.
protecting this labor? This is labor. This is creating a labor force through R1 visa abuse and religious abuse because this is not religious work. What they're doing. If it's religious work, fine. If he's in there doing whatever religious work, then he's allowed to make that. But he's not allowed to work as security. He's not allowed to, work out in these events as for as that's not a religious anything. It's just that's labor. They need to be paid. And I told we told Alex, I'm like, I'm actually here advocating for you. Like I'm fighting for you as much as I'm fighting for for anyone else. Like I'm fighting for you to get your wages. I'm very much a believer that I don't want slave labor. I don't want people. I don't want an entity deceiving and creating a labor force based on deception, religious deception. No, like there's so many different angles to attack. Whether protect the children, right? Protect labor, protect the senior. Like everyone can get involved and just chip away at so many different areas and whatever, but reach the person where they're at. He's a labor guy, so let's hit him hard with the labor issues. Just like Grant was the head of the union, right? Hit him with the labor issues.
I agree. I love that. And I think um the labor issues, and then that's maybe what we can do. We can keep the pamphlet as is, the Scientology State Point and pamphlet, keep printing those, and then just personalize with some kind of letter and just attach the letter to the thing and hand it to them, and it just really
Yeah,
breaks down like why we're sending it to them directly, and then they can read all the things. I think that's a
I
really good
love
thing,
it.
kind of
I
how
love
we
that.
did for Jamie's book with the goldenrod
Yes,
note,
yeah,
kind of like just a simple note on goldenrod that says, so I'm going to work on that. That would be really cool.
perfect.
I'm going to write note that is
Yeah, because we can hit them right because they all have different angles. I
directly
know,
for
like
the job.
yeah, so like I know Nithya's dealings with housing, so like that's her passion. So you can say, okay, well, why aren't they helping the
Yeah.
homeless or the unhoused? Like him, it's labor. Why aren't they helping the labor people with children? That you can kind of hit them and they're the points that they're going to be using to run on. And to say, okay, well, what are you going to do about this situation? There's just not enough hours in a day.
There isn't. Can you read that?
Will someone give me a simple short statement for general comment tomorrow? Sure. Just basically, you could just go in their area, and I would love to have you call and just say, how about this? If you are ever like, I suggest that you not give them any more permits because they have violated every single one. But if you choose to do so, make sure that LAPD and every other entity is aware of the rules and that you guys send your own person, your own inspector to make sure they are following the rules, because you're leaving the city liable. I mean, I don't, but because that's right now the message, to either stop giving them these permits, or if they're going to do it, make sure everyone's educated about it, and then go have an enforcement there. And you could just pick one of those. Like, you could just, if you don't want to do all of it, just, to say, how come you could just say, why aren't you having enforcement there? Why aren't you having your own inspectors there? They should be there, even if or don't give them a permit. Something simple like that. That would help so much.
Yeah,
And I hope
exactly.
you look forward to it.
Yeah, and you can also some people get confused about the R permit and calling in to revoke the permit. So yes, you're calling in asking, please put the revocable, the R permit, because the Scientology permit is actually revocable. They're not upholding their insurance on it. There's certain things that they need to be doing that they're not doing. And so at any point, and even to the neighborhood, it says, and even if the neighborhood, if there's some issue with the neighborhood, this permit can be brought up again. So it's a revocable permit. And so we're asking people to call in and even in their 1 minute, you get 1 minute and it goes by like that. So just keep your attention on, please stop giving Scientology permits. They're using these permits for recruitment into their human trafficking, child abusing cult. And the other thing is, with your 1 minute of public comment, you can also talk about from your own personal experience, whatever it is. You can always remind them that there's these front groups, that to be aware of these Scientology front groups that are infiltrating the city. That's the main thing. It's because you're reminding them that Scientology doesn't own these streets. They don't own the sidewalks. They don't own the property all around the blue buildings. They just don't. It's city property.
And revoking the R permit will go a long way, because they feel they own it. They keep calling it their campus, because the R permit is only for the brick, basically to have that brick road. It doesn't give them, and they have to maintain it. So that's why they think it's theirs, because they have to maintain it, but they don't own it. It's a fine line. But I saw that about Commissioner Grant. Commissioner Grant told me to always let him know whenever there's going to be an event. I'm like, sir, you know there's going to be an event, because you guys are the ones giving the permit. So, but I would bet money. Well, maybe not because it was Easter, but I would not be surprised if Grant had. He'll probably let me know if he passes me in the hall. I'll ask him. But he does go by there sometimes, and so do cops. I've had detectives and different levels of cops come down there, and they say it's really creepy. They said, they come at incognito, and they see what we're talking about with this over aggressive, security. So, but Grant shows up. Can AuditLA please create the list of emails and contacts that BSS sends the permits to for their feedback? I have a feeling that would be in what's it? Can AuditLA please create a list of emails and contacts that BSS sends the permits to for their feedback? I don't think they send the permit out to anyone for their feedback. I CPRA everything dealing with all these permits. I don't think they do too much. I think they kind of
I like this detective work.
I know, yeah, we need it, and I need it because like that's the other thing I'm looking into right now, because one safe pointed cop was he was Captain Graham when I served on the CPAP, and he was a great guy. I really like him, but CPAP, I mean, Scientology got to him, and through emails I realized that he went to Blue Building 6 times because Janet calling, oh, please come, Commander, because he moved up to Commander of Transit, which has nothing to do with anything dealing with that. So I don't know. They buddied him up on the CPAC, but now he just retired from LAPD and he became the chief of LAUSD, the school district's police department. And I'm concerned because like LAUSD does not have anything to do with Scientology, and they will not allow any of their propaganda, anything. They kicked it all out, and so I'm concerned that he might be a conduit. They might try to use him to be a conduit. Oh no, this is good. This one, so we've got to keep an eye on now the school district and their new chief, which He's a likable guy. I like to have a meeting with him. He gets whenever he sees me, he gets so nervous because he knows I'm protesting against them. But him and I, we used to talk a lot. But I used to say, even back before I really knew about Scientology, the community's upset because you're having all these events on Scientology, the Valley org. And he's like, I don't want to hear it anymore. Stop telling me whatever. It's too bad. They have a state of the art. They offer it for free. And I'm like, well, there's other places we could probably get for free. And he's like, I don't want to hear it no more. So he very much like he's not. I don't think he's a Scientologist, but I think he's, you know, whatever I will probably wind and I don't know what happened, but we need to keep an eye out. Wait, you don't have to give names, but talk about the feedback. Wait, I missed that. Wait, you don't have to give names, but talk about the feedback with the CPAP cops and White. Yeah, that was really good. Like that was so good, and I love that the captain at the CPAP, like we got to talk with White, but the captain would not give her like and all the like the hugs and everything. He kept a distance, and even with Northeast Division, like I got to speak up to him. I'm going to send him an email prior to it saying stop. And I did tell them stop giving her her secret passage. Like they would escort her out the building. Like every time you do that, you're giving me the impression that you think I'm dangerous, or you're conceding to her that oh yeah she might be dangerous. That is offensive to me. So I'm telling them I do not. You need to stop doing that. She can walk past me. I'm not going to hurt her. I'm not even going to call her out her name. I'm not going to do anything to her because I know how to handle myself in public at a police
Yeah.
meeting. I know how to handle myself. So
And like Laura already has it on her live stream. She's got you on the live stream.
yeah, and I'm not going to sit there and
I've
yell at
got
her
Jan-
or cuss her
no,
out her
I
name or
got
nothing.
Janet on the live stream. I'm like, we don't need to talk to you. We see you here. We see what's going on. We see that you're a literal simp and a little pawn for Scientology, and you're
Mhm.
not here as an individual. You're here on behalf of Scientology.
That's
So
your
that's
job.
all we need. She
I
wants to
had the
cry.
one
I'm like,
lady. Yeah, she says we hate her.
yeah,
Like I don't hate her, but I found out that like I mean, back when I didn't even know much about Scientology, they said this is our job. We are required to go to these meetings and to be on these boards. So they're not there individually. They're there as excuse me as as Scientology. But I want
yeah.
them to stop escorting her out. That's got to stop because that is offensive. I mean,
I
that's
think they
like
did. I think she like just left right after. So
no,
when
that
I
was that
came
one.
around,
I'm talking about Northeast. Northeast, they were still
yes,
giving her that like back door. And I'm like, no. This time they
weird.
made her go
Yeah.
out the front door at Hollywood because I said something to him too. I said something to the sergeant too. I said, look, it's got to stop. That is offensive. Like you are
Hmm.
like saying that I'm a danger. Like you are like believe like you're. That's what they do, right? There's a big angry
Right.
mob and blah blah blah. It's like where's it? Where's the big angry mob? All I see is our side getting hit or assaulted or whatever of rights violated. Like I don't see a whole lot of you guys getting assaulted and stuff. So please, we should be asking for a police
Yeah.
escort from you.
Yeah. Exactly. And I also do believe that because so many things happen. When I try to give Officer White the pamphlet, he thought I was like trying to serve him or like give him
Yeah,
something. He
I
was like, "Oh,
think
I
so.
don't
He
want to
was
be." He's like,
scared.
"What are you doing?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "See, dude, that's why I don't even talk to you. You're just so assumptive." And then he was like, kind of like, "Oh, hold on." Well, I didn't. And I was like, "No, dude." Like, so at the beginning, I was like, Ugh, "I'm not talking to you. Like, you're so annoying. Like, you're so one sided." And then he seen me give it out to other people. I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like they're all accepting it,
Yeah.
like just casually. So it's just like, and so then after he was already feeling like, oh, I'm going to try to talk to her. And I could feel him trying to talk to me. So I was just like, fine, what's up? Like, dude, no, like either you're straight up and tell me what's up or like, don't bullshit me, like, period. If you're going to be acting the way you're acting. And he was like, oh, well, no, something's happening. And I'm like, what? All your shit, your police LAPD shit is being exposed because you have, somebody who you guys attacked at La Poubelle when we were protesting Scientology. And now that camera footage is all being exposed. I mean, everything's exposed. So now you want to say, well, like we didn't mean it like that. Well, it's not about feelings, is it? Right. I mean, I heard
But that
that
was a good conversation. I felt we made a lot of
we did.
progress
And
with
so but
him, and
that's
I
where I
feel
was
he's
coming from. I
yeah.
said, I just was like, why does it have to come all the way to this? Like, now we're working out, but like, can you imagine
Yeah.
I'm telling him, like, you know how much shit we get from people who just don't understand what Scientology is doing. And so they're just like sitting there protecting Scientology. And it's like, what are you doing? We
But
wouldn't be
they've had
arguing if we
decades,
wouldn't.
when you think of it,
Yeah.
decades of hearing them say this stuff, and they've only had like 3 years of us. And of course, we've been painted in the worst light by the people
Right.
that they've been helping for decades. So
Yeah.
I understand that it's going to be a slow turnaround. Like, I'm one of those people. I know it's not overnight. It's not a microwave solution. It is time. It's effort. It's goodwill. It's speaking, communication, all that stuff. And it is turning. Even with the police, the tide is turning, and
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to recover. Scientology will not recover from it. They will not. They're going to have to go to Florida or something,
Well, I don't know. I mean,
or to nowhere, or go to Mars, go to their next planet, whatever
they
that.
might have to create a whole new fleet of Sea
There you
Org
go.
ships and have them
There you
all
go.
on, and each ship will be like, there'll be like the big ship that's bigger than the Free Winds, and that will be Flag, because Flag was just Flag. And then
Yeah.
Free, they're all just going to be like L. Ron Hubbard running away on sea, so that
Yeah.
they the
Well, with Mark
feds and
Bunker
them.
getting elected, we get him elected. That's what's going to have to happen too, because he's going to hold their feet to the fire. That's another thing. We got to get him elected. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Mark Bunker, super important for anybody in Clearwater. Please look up Mark Bunker. He's been such a good person for Clearwater in general. He's lived in Clearwater, has been there forever, and he helps Clearwater just as is. But he also is an advocate for exposing Scientology's infiltration in Clearwater and exposing how manipulative they are with their money and their tactics. And he's just a super awesome guy, and I feel like everybody should support him. And even though I'm in California and Los Angeles, across the country completely, I just feel that
I
Mark
want to
Bunker
help him.
needs to be supported. So we can support him in whatever way we can. Great. Let's do it.
Sorry, Bridge. I know we have to care about our clear water people. Though we're going to get them ships out in the ocean. Don't worry, we're going to send them on the ships. I like Lars' idea better. I want them out of LA. I just want to be able to retire. I don't know.
Bridge.
Get on my life. Get him out of LA. Stop all the nonsense. But okay, Bridge, we won't send him to Florida. Can't send him to. I like the ship idea. Just float around. Or spaceship.
Yes.
Like now that we learn how to get back around the moon, I mean, that's another option. But
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Plus
yeah,
Scientology, if we put them on a ship, the boat don't need to be that big, because by that time there won't be that many Sea Org or Scientologists, because
there you
they'll all
go.
be finally opening their eyes to David Miscavige's crazy tactics.
Yes,
Okay. Anything else? I'm sure we missed like 100 things, but we did a bunch.
probably.
We
Yeah,
caught up
but we
on
could.
everything. But
Yeah, we
so
did.
in the future, I think somebody asked me, thank you guys all, by the way, for your memberships. Thank you, Irish. Thank you, Beach. Thank you, everybody who gave me a membership. I think you guys are so awesome. And thank you,
Yep, it
everybody who
helps.
supports Audit.
Yep, but all of it,
Audit.
like
Audit.
whoever, when you support us, it matters so much, because sometimes you're just down there and just to get
You're
to and
down and
from,
out.
and
You're getting through something, and then bing, you're like, oh, yes, yes.
yeah.
So we
I know
super
they always like, here,
appreciate
get a
that.
coffee, because they know, or you need a coffee. You need to. It's true, because you just need a break. So it's so exhausting. But now
Yeah.
we gotta work cut out for us. There's more stuff coming. I don't, like I said, I do a lot of things. I am, it's not to keep secrets. It's just to keep secrets from Scientology. I wish I had a way to like know that they're not in the mix. But but I always give updates later on. You know what I mean, as things pan out. But
Yeah.
they're just the type
Same
of
with me,
person,
and
they always
I'm
try to.
super busy right now.
Yeah,
Super busy,
we're
but
working on a
also
lot.
as we're busy, me and Otta are always like tuning in. Okay, yeah, da 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 da. Okay, good. We got, so we're keeping shit going. But
Yeah,
um I think it's
there's always new
awesome.
stuff.
I'm very excited. I think that the work is so important. Oh yeah, Kathy asked, when was last time saw mom Lara? Mom saw Lara, Lara saw mom me. I think like probably like 10 years ago now. Maybe longer.
I
I don't
think
know.
we need to
Time
get
is
that
like
wellness
flying.
check.
Yeah, we're gonna get
We
that.
need to
Yeah.
push that.
Yeah. And when is next Lara FM concert? Asking for a friend. I don't know. I'm gonna book one soon. I'm in the middle of adjusting life physically and doing stuff. So like I'm thinking probably in at the end of May or early June. So I'll let you guys know. But thank you
But
for asking. I
keep the
also
next
just
two
did a bunch
Wednesdays
of
open, though, Laura. I
yeah, yeah.
just keep. I can't. We're not gonna say, but just keep. I don't know which one,
I
but just keep the
always
next two
do.
Wednesdays open.
I always do. I
Okay.
always do.
More to come.
Yeah, more to come. There are definitely things that we're holding back on right now that will eventually be able to talk about. So that will be
Yep.
fun. So yeah, and I also just had three awesome desert shows in 29 Palms. That was super fun. Friday and Saturday night 2 weeks ago. And then the week before that in 29 Palms, at Snakes and Stars in 29 Palms. They awesome food, awesome restaurant, awesome vibe. It was so cool. So yeah, I'm now in like packing and doing stuff and shifting the gears of my life. So that's the update there. There will be more of an update once I'm settled and know what I want to say and keep to myself and all of that. And then I'm excited for the future things we have coming up on it.
Yeah. Yep. Me too. And more. Yeah. It's just gonna keep. I mean, till it's done. I guess. It's
Yeah.
been because I want David Miscavige too, but can I send a message to him? Be like, you have some major people with some major flaps. Why you let Moxon and Kirsten Peterson have anything to do with anything? Like he's nuts because they're going to help bring down. They're going to be the ones that bring down Scientology, Miscavige, because those two are your biggest flaps. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm probably they're one of their long-term flaps. One
Well,
of their
well,
long-term biggest flaps.
yeah, but see, you're not
Hi,
internal.
Dad.
They're internal. They need to. They need. Okay, Kirsten. I mean, those two, right? If they didn't piss me off this much, then maybe I wouldn't have been so. Um,
Yeah,
whatever. But this is.
yeah.
Yeah, they're running loose. Exactly, Nisa. Yeah, they should be in prison, and for sure. But anyway,
They will,
it's,
and some people will,
they
and the
will.
law's gonna get them, and justice will prevail, and we are gonna continue on because that's what keeps us continuing.
But you got to keep the pressure. It's like, how do you cook a lobster?
So
Right? The best way
tomorrow
to do it is
morning,
the
yeah,
heat,
I
build it
feel
up.
like stay tuned. Always you can go to Antics of a Mama Squirrel. You can she's always live streaming, or you can go to Ganja. Is it do you remember what Ganja's channel is?
It's Ganja Girl. I
Ganja
mean,
Girl some numbers or
Wednesdays were
something.
like I go in person, and if they're not, I might try to figure out how to do it too. But
Yeah. So
but
yeah,
they
we
also
might be
are on
going
YouTube.
Wednesday.
They are on YouTube. You won't be able to chat on YouTube. If
Yeah.
somebody's not streaming for a certain day, the Public Works is doing it live on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you can hear us there if you want to hear it live as well if somebody's not streaming that day.
Yeah. And but most of the time, yeah, it's Ganja Girl. There you go. Boom
There you go.
shakalaka.
Yep.
So most of the time, Ganja Girl has it up. Antics of a Mama Squirrel will be live streaming or pop it up. And so you're able to hear, just if you're just starting, you can go in and hear, and you can ask Antics or Ganja anything really, like, hey, what would happen if I didn't, or if I said this and I just wanted to be done? Like whatever, any questions, if you're nervous, you can just kind of hear how it goes. And so you'll get the vibe. Once you do it once, then it's like gets super easy, and then you get clearer and clearer, and then all that fear and anxiety goes away, and then your
Yeah.
message just becomes better and better. So I'm
Yeah.
still
And I think,
learning and
yeah,
loving.
like
We're
Peter
still
said, yeah, I
learning.
think there might be like Antics might be taking a little bit of a break right now. but
But
it's okay.
you
We're going to
post
figure
it a
it out.
lot. Will you post, do you post it most of the time on your YouTube, on your like community
Yeah, I'll
post?
post. Well, yeah, no,
Or can
I
we
usually will
go
edit
back
it
to
and then
doing that?
post it. Yeah, I could
Okay.
go back to doing that.
But
Yeah,
and
for
you can
sure.
also post when there's a link so people can always copy and
Mm-hmm.
paste that on your channel. I'll get better at it, but right
Yep,
now I can't do it.
I
But
could
just
do it.
maybe for the
Yeah.
first few ones we can do that. But either way, I feel like later I have a feeling that antics will come back at some point
Oh
and
yeah.
get up and definitely do that. But Ganja and other people, you can always go to AuditLA's YouTube on her community page. She's normally always posting like the link, the Zoom link, where to call in, and the agenda items. So you can talk about certain agendas. You don't have to do the agenda items. You can do public comment if you feel safe to start with that and just hear
But
how
it's
it goes. That's
fun.
how I started. It is fun, and
Yeah,
it
it is.
is
It's
fun
like to challenge
for
yourself
me.
and say, okay, to dodge there, you're off topics. It's fun, and to
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to
you're off
coordinate it. I
topic
love it.
because
Like
but it's good. And I love
it's
when there's
challenging.
literal things that I'm like, oh, this has to do with Scientology. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
then it's like anything with the street paving or anything like that, or street updates. But
yeah,
yeah, so I thank you for having us, having this chat. We've been wanting to do it for a week now. I'm glad we finally got to do it.
yes. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all your advocacy work for all of us and always being there with me and for me. And I love being able to be myself whenever I need to be in around you. And I just love it. And I love that you help so many of us on the record and off the record and with Scientology and with all kinds of different, all your different kinds of groups. And so I really love that very
I'm
much. And I
happy to
appreciate
do
you.
it.
I
I appreciate
appreciate
you.
the
I love
chat.
you guys. I
I
appreciate the chat and all
appreciate,
you guys, even if
yeah,
I
we
didn't really
appreciate you
interact as much. But I love you guys. I
so
do.
much.
You guys
Yes.
are
And
amazing.
we'll see you soon and we'll be on the live stream soon. And
Yep.
I'll hear you all on the public works tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Call in.
And
It'll be
then
fun. Come on,
Wednesday,
guys.
right? Wednesday.
Well,
Wednesday we're
Tuesdays,
also
Tuesdays, I think fire. I don't know about fire this time. Police, unless it's been canceled, I'm not sure. But city council's back. So and then Wednesday, city council's back and public works. So I plan on hopefully
okay.
going
So we'll figure it out.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I'll post. I'll post it. All right.
Okay,
Bye,
amazing.
y'all.
Love you
Thank
guys
y'all. And
so
thank you
much.
to the
And thank you
mods.
all. Yes, thank you all. And thank you to everybody who supports doing the
Everyone.
flyers. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for supporting Audit. Thank you for supporting everybody. And thank you to the moderators who've been supporting the wild chat of the world. And thank you for everybody being so awesome and supportive of each other.
Amen.
Love to you all. See you soon.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Somebody is searching for the right child. Somebody is telling you what's right. Now you're going to have to decide what you're gonna do the next step you take in life. feeling down. Hold me close when I'm all alone. Keep me safe, far from home. Hold me up when I'm feeling down. Hold me close when I'm all alone. Keep me safe, far from home.